This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with that prize guy. I'm delighted to be joined for the first time in quite a while with a public nuisance, Sean McComb. How are you?
I'm good, Stephen. All good. Just finished training there, so look, you got me at a good time. Well trained.
I've got you. Obviously, you've had some fits. You're not as angry now. So obviously, during this, we're not going to maybe get you where you. If you were hungry, you'd be full pelt and giving it all angles here. We've got you in a fairly middling turn.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm in the middle of camp now, and we're just speaking there before you start recording, and just saying it's came so quick, and now I'm only 3.5 weeks out of it. That good stage where all the hard sparring's happening, and this is the hardest part of camp. The mid, you're getting the high range of sparring and the high volume. Maybe in a week's time or 10 days time, we'll just maybe start to taper down a little bit, sharpen up, speedy things up. So I'm in a good stage now. And listen, I've been a year, just over a year out of the ring, and I've missed this. I've really missed this. Like I've trained, I've ticked away. I've always said that. I've always kept myself busy, and I've helped out a lot of people sparring. I've helped Shannon Kelly for his title fight with that goal. I've done multiple rounds with him. I've been there and helping people, and I always keep myself busy with sparring. I actually drove down to Bangor. I was helping Sandy Race. He flew a fellow over from London who was fighting. He's 10-0. I helped him out, and I'm always getting rounds, keep myself busy. So in a way, it doesn't even feel like I've been inactive because I've been active training. It's just this feeling of having a goal at the end of it, and having different periodization of camp, and just that the whole thing of watching what you're eating, and just enjoying that lifestyle. You know what I mean? I've missed it.
I was sort of saying to you off camera before we started, whenever you were going into the Barboza fight, like we done an interview a couple of weeks out, and you had said that you wouldn't have wanted anybody else to be in the position that you were in. I'm guessing probably it's similar for you now in the fact that the way that fight went, like you wouldn't have wanted anybody else to have that experience of being completely and calling a spade a spade. You were raw blind in America. Like, is it similar for you in a way where you didn't want anybody else to be in that scenario going into the fight, but also the back end of having to deal with being completely and utterly robbed?
Yeah, 100%. I believe I was the only man that could have went in there and beat Barboza the way I did in New York. Uh, I believe I'm the only man who could have dealt with it on the back end of it the way I have, remain positive. The amount of people who stop me on a daily and be like, "I'm Rob, it's fucking frustrating." But isn't it? I believe for a lot of other fighters that are probably just jacked it in, especially off the back of the amount of opportunities that fell through after the Barboza fight. Almost opportunities. Like I can deal with stuff quite well. And throughout my career as an amateur, I've had setback after setback, frustrating, controversy setbacks, ones where I come off games where I thought, like, I thought Joseph Fitzpatrick for 30, believe I just I boxed the head of that mate and they get handed his ace and they would have come off games. It was like, fuck me. People were telling me just jack it in then. Obviously, I didn't want to jack it in then. I was still enjoying the boxing, but I was hating that side of the game. And just wee things like that. Of course, Albert Salmov, we boxed Albert Salmov in the World Championships, the Olympic Games, and I've 100% 30 deserved to beat him and to give it to him, being the world number one. He beat me on the split decision. They're setbacks that are life changing for me to go to. That was me to go to Rio. You know what I mean? That's a big platform. That's me to go and get an opportunity for a medal, and I've just beat the world number one fighter, and they give it to him. So I've experienced these setbacks before. The only difference is no one's seen them fights because they're on an amateur pedigree at the elite championships, and people don't have access to watch that globally. The difference between my fight with Barboza was it was globally watched. It was pay per view map around Larson, Gavin, it was cool main event, and everyone in the arena, there were 17,000 people in the arena, were booing. Not their fight. They're all Americans and Mexicans, and my social media blew up with followers from America messaging me saying you deserve that fight. I've dealt with it well, and I thought I might have got an opportunity by now. Like I wasn't fully positive that big fights would come, but off the back of it, because as I said to you before, off camera, why would anyone want to fight me? I understand them people who say no to me because I know what's going to happen. But you still have to you still have to believe in your own ability to beat me. Do you know what I mean? If you're at level of fighter and you believe you beat me easy, just beat me.
Is
You know
that
what I
the
mean?
worst thing that's come out of it all? Obviously, people now realise how good you are. Like I know sometimes like talk is cheap sometimes, and people will say Sean McComb's this or Sean McComb's that, but people seen on the world stage how good you are as a pro now, and the most annoying thing out of it is now is people are saying how good you are and they're going, no, he's too much of a risk, you know. But that's the fight game, isn't it? You have to go into them risks, and people are scared to take the risk, and that's why they're going, nah, I want a different fight, or we're not at this sort of level yet. That's probably more annoying than the defeat the Barboza is. People now won't fight you because of who you are.
Yeah, 100%. As I said before, and I understand them people, and I understand when I'm asking for them people. Um, the difference is they have promotional background and I don't. I mean, Jack Carroll lost to George Taylor. He was given straight away a pathway. He was inactive maybe for a few months, few 9 months after. Eddie Hearn back and then he got him back out again. Got some decent fights against the areas. He got him rematch against George Taylor and he progressed his career. I didn't have that. I didn't have that support. And I've remained positive. GBM's came on board now, is he? And he's given me an opportunity to promote me and he's going to push me. And he's going to try and push me on the big fights. And he thoroughly believes that I deserve it. And Anto Fitz is a team up Anto Fitz. Obviously, Leigh is just very busy now. And he's taking a bigger role within Matra or within uh,
Queensbury.
and me and Leigh just made an agreement that look, he's too busy for me. He's got a big stable of players also on the the right moves to go with Anto at that time, and those was right away active. Got me fight, got me Sam Rizzy, got me a fight in Galway. They're planning on getting me again in September. They're planning on getting me in December. If I win in September, maybe here in Belfast, hopefully December. So I mean, that's all I've needed. A wee bit of vision, something that I know that I can work towards. Where I'm not going through the motions no more. Just when the agenda, I'm actually have a better drive and a wee bit of vision, and someone who back me and believe me, you know, and believes in me, and I'll give my 100% all back to the game.
Apologies, anybody listening here with the sound dropping in and out. Obviously, technology, I guess, between two different devices, sometimes it can just sort of have wee bit of drawbacks. I was going to sort of mention there, obviously, the deal with GBM. Like, I know when Kieran Molloy signed with him, obviously, I think part of his stipulation was he wanted a homecoming in Galway. Was one of the stipulations for you in signing with GBM that you wanted them to have a homecoming with you in Belfast as well?
Yeah, well, just want that activity. Didn't care where I fought. He said he would like to do so in Belfast anyway. He just didn't have any fighters to headline and maybe bring in a crowd. So now he does me, and it's probably potentially something he could do this year. I mean, I would be a big ticket seller. I could do the Ulster Hall. He'd do something on the night. And as I say, I wanted that. When I spoke with Fanto and spoke with Izzy, I just wanted activity. Just keep me busy. Okay, so I'll get myself in the position where I want to be able to have to, and then we'll take it from there. But um, it's good to have a wee bit of a pathway now and a clear pathway at that, knowing when I'm fit, when I shouldn't be fit. Even before that Barboza fight, I got 3 weeks notice. I only got 3 weeks notice to fight Barboza. You know what I mean? I've always been in a position. Whenever MTK folded, there was no clear pathway for any of us, other than the ones that were saying with promoters. So I've always had to stay busy in the gym, which has probably benefited me in a way. Um, because you never know when the phone calls want to come. And a few fights fell through for me. Like it was meant to fight Wild Davies 2 weeks early. The contract for saying and it was changed. He's fighting a Spanish guy, and they will just be opportunities kept on through while I was training for them. And it's been like that. It's been like that from MTK forward, and there's no security no more. So I just had to put that wee bit of trust in my own ability and a wee bit of trust in staying consistent with training and just have a positive mindset. Otherwise, you'd be like,
With you now signed the GBM, like obviously I know that you'd sort of said before, like, you know, I'm always like 3 or 4 weeks away, sort of fighting at 140. Like, is there still an opportunity you can maybe make 135? Have you got to that stage now where 140 is the lowest?
140 is perfect. You know what? I can make it easy. I'm just operating the whole plate of chips here. Make 140 easy, and I do it. 135, I don't enjoy it much. I make it. I don't. No, I just have no time for anybody. No time for my family. I have no time for my son. don't enjoy it. And why would I go down to 135 when I'm performing? Makes absolutely no sense to me. And I tried it before, underperformed. Camp was horrible. Just hate it every kind of life. And at the end of the day, I love boxing and I want to keep loving it. When it comes to that side of things, I just I don't enjoy it.
It's finding that sort of that optimum sort of prime sometimes, isn't it? Where you want that happiness as well, because camps can be the most depressing times in the world, particularly when you're trying to make weight. And if an extra £5 helps you enjoy life and camp and everything else, that's exactly what you want.
100%. Like just having that freedom of like just doing that wee extra bit. Like, when I was making 135, I was doing a full season and then on the treadmill for 5K every night, straight after the season, and that was only one season. And then that night going doing my weight season and then finishing another 5K. So I was running 10K every day. 5K after the first season, 5K after the second season, and then coming in the next morning to train again. I was just fucked. My legs were bit and fatigue just kicked in every. Like I was going, like by Tuesday night, I was completely fatigued, ready for a rest. We still have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to go, and then a long run on Sunday. I was like, this is just never ending. And you were starting camp 2 weeks earlier than you would have started camp normally. You know what I mean? So it wasn't enjoyable. And I didn't enjoy it. As I said, I'm performing at 140, and I'm big at 140. What's the point?
Do you, do you nearly wish you'd have made the jump to 140 earlier? Now, obviously, now that you're enjoying it again, do you think of maybe the opportunities you could have had?
I started off at 140. You know what I mean? I started off at 140. I think I went to 11-0 at 140, and I mean, it was comfortable and I was really enjoying it. An opportunity come to fake I went at 135, and I went, fuck, I'll give it a go. And I hated it. And then after that, I sort of a box Ronnie Clark at 137. And even then, I was like, I remember we're fighting Ronnie Clark. I know he's as tough as old boots, but I was like, what the fuck? Just look at the state of me on the scales, I'm skin and bone. And I'm not even boxing properly, I'm not even boxing good. And then I went, it just says, I'm 140. And that's it. I'm staying at 140. I want to stay at 140. And I did.
I think it probably maybe around that time as well. I think you say you get someone else doing your nutrition. I think it was a Stephen Floyd maybe got involved with your nutrition and sort of.
And I mean, like Stephen Floyd's very good because like going by body percentage and body fat percentage, he was able to tell that we done a DAXA scan in Liverpool, John Muir University, and it's like the gold standard of like a body, like giving you a full body rundown, and it tells you that I can make 135 with 6% body fat. I'll be sitting around 5%, 6% body fat, which is naturally what some people do come in at. But Stephen Floyd says to me, look, personal preference, that doesn't mean to say because you're 6%, yes, it's not dangerous at that stage, but it doesn't mean to say that you're like you'll perform at that stage. It doesn't mean to say you need to figure out what we spar at, what time, like what way you spar your best, and if I figured it all out myself, you know, I just figured out what was best for me and what way I was performing, what was sparring, and what stage I can't was sparring, what weight it was at that stage, and now I go into the ring at that weight when it was great. And 135 is just I just don't enjoy it. I can make it, but it's not.
You couldn't enjoy your wee luxuries like a Twix at night time with a cup of tea. You know, obviously now you can go. I can have a wee Twix now and again.
Exactly. We works a cup of tea, and it's the next day you're less you're less bollocks throughout the day. You know what I mean?
Obviously, in 3.5 weeks' time, obviously back on Galway, Pearse Stadium, obviously Kieran Molloy headlines against a previous opponent of yours in Casey Benjamin. Like, is it in some ways? I think you only fought in the field once, so you've only fought outdoors once. Like, well, in
No,
some way,
I should have fought in Windsor. I remember Davy in Windsor.
that's right. So you did. Like, will that be reacquainting old times for us, sort of? You know, in a big stadium, sort of.
Anything I'd say anything if I boxed twice outdoor in the field, boxed once outdoor in the Windsor, and they've been all good times, good memories, good shows. So I'm just hoping this is more of the same, and it always gives me a good like when I think back to fighting outdoor, like even when it was raining and the weather, it's always give me. It was always like the shows were always like community based. even Windsor Park was community based because it was just you know what I mean. It was I was still had access. You had to walk through like onto the pitch. And you had access to see people, and people had access to see you within close proximity. And you were like, well, like, and then getting in the ring and performing and back out again. It was they were all good times. So I'm just hoping that that'll be the same. Will be the same. I mean, it's obviously a 6 rounder with no point yet, but I've took camp very serious and tactics very serious. I mean, I'm not going to nerd out the rest of it anymore. That's the last thing I want to do. I believe a lot of people have done that in the past and haven't performed. I don't care who I'm fighting. I really want to perform and I want to be very professional about it.
This is probably your, it's obviously as a 6 rounder on paper, it's probably not going to be your toughest fight to date, but it's probably the most important fight because if you were to get another defeat at this stage, it's jeopardy for your career.
Game over if you lose this stage. I mean, I think what the problem is now is after Barboza, people have a big expectation on me. So people are going to be going to expect me to blast this fella away because I fought Barboza. Me personally, I don't care. It's not my state. I don't go in and blast people away. I go and box ahead of people. So it's important for me to go in and box the high standard that I can potentially box it on that night against whatever the opponent may be. I've got a really good boxing IQ. Pete Taylor still with me. Pete can see things that I believe no other coach can see, and I put all my trust in Pete, and Pete will give me the right tactics on the night, and it's up to me and just to put on a show and get out there and try and get it against September.
Is that a big thing for you? The fact that obviously you're the only one that I believe now that Pete's still training, so obviously it shows that that things are clicked very well with the two E's. Where obviously you're still the only one, even though he's out in Holland and things like that. You're still the only one. He's physically going to be training as a pro, so that gives you a boat of confidence as well. Do you know that a world class coach in Pete Taylor, he's been there and done it everywhere, still wants to work with Sean McComb?
Yeah, of course. Like Pete was a wee bit worried when he was moving to Holland. He didn't really want to. He was like, I sort of half knew that he was like, I knew he was moving because he had told me, but I didn't know when or what was happening. I think he was sort of hesitant to tell me that he was doing it because he didn't know what my response was going to be. I just says to Pete at Monday in Dublin, I kind of Pete, whatever you're doing, like, Pete, my innovation, he just tell me, and I come with you. I'm not training with anyone else, so just so you're very clear on this, like the way like think I'm gonna leave because you're going out, I'll make it work with whoever to make it work. I'll come with you because, as I say, there's no like I've been around the game a long time at the highest level as an amateur, as a pro, and been around so many different coaches, and I just think Pete's the best. With the same man and the same IQ as him, like, and I have a very good IQ, so we bounce off each other very well.
Like obviously I don't want to think of as life after boxing, but you've obviously been in corners and stuff. Obviously you were in Jared Hughes's corner and in the Ulster Hall for one of the fights and things like that as well. Like I'm not, you're hopefully a good few years.
As well, and Waterford, you got
You're,
knocked.
you're a good few years away from obviously retirement, but like is that something you would like to do after boxing? Is obviously because sometimes we find in boxing as pros sort of go away into the wilderness and get fat and sort of think back on old times. Like, is that something you'd like to do in the future? Is obviously become a trainer and train pros and things like that yourself?
Yeah, definitely, it's something I will do anyway. I mean, I've got my own gym anyway. I've got like Myself Fitness, which is a small group personal training gym, and it's a semi-private fitness facility, and it keeps me busy in between fights. But I'll definitely I'll coach at the juveniles in Holy Trinity. I'll volunteer in there and maybe coach senior boxers, but I'll definitely start off in Holy Trinity coaching the juveniles and just give back to the community. The club was very good to me my whole career, and they gave me an opportunity, and I would give the same and a wee bit of guidance and a wee bit of direction, and maybe somewhere down the line if an opportunity came to train a good, decent fighter that I had a good relationship with, then yeah, I'll take it on. But first of all, be just coaching a, as an amateur coach for juniors.
How long do I guess, on the back end of that, like how long have you set like a sort of timeline when how many years you'll stay as a pro? Like we get to the stage under the catch at 35, 36, becoming a world champion and then going, the career's only starting. Like how long do you see in the pipeline you might have left as a boxer?
I don't have any plans to retire. No vision of when I'm going to retire. It's just I'll know when I start getting beat up. Sparring, start losing spars that I shouldn't be losing. I'll know. I'll not take any unnecessary punishment just to box. I'll once my legs slow down and I'm getting hit when I shouldn't be getting hit, I'll just say. But as it stands now, I'm happy with my kind of performance, and I'm very happy. I mean, my last performance was obviously it was a loss, but I mean it was my best performance in my career yet, and it's a level that I belong at, and I still believe I can hang around that level as well. So um, no, I've absolutely no thought when I retire. I'll have to make that decision when I feel I'm starting to slow down.
Everybody would be delighted to hear that because they don't want to see the public nuisance going away anytime soon. Do you see what you're saying, obviously, there, you're fighting Galway, then potentially against September, December. Do you see the rest of this year as sort of trying to get yourself back active and sort of trying to push towards sort of getting yourself world ranked again? Is that the sort of focus for the rest of this year?
Yeah, that's the goal. I mean, as I say, I would love to fight this 6 rounder and I'm eligible again to fight for the title if I win. We come off a win, you're eligible to fight for the title. So I mean, spoke to Izzy about and Antoine told me that we'll potentially push for one of the national belts. So I don't know. I don't know, but we'll push for one of the guys, try and get you an international belt. Um, and then off the back, yeah, to move into one of the rankings. Another you can defend that belt, Belfast potentially, and then we move up further in rankings again, and we'll just keep chipping away. As I say, I just want activity. If I'm active, I'm going to be hard to beat.
Riyadh's obviously changed a lot of people's lives, and obviously Anto was one of them. Obviously there was talk earlier this year of the potential of it so close to you and Pearse O'Leary fighting. And obviously it ended up being the boxer sort of took the reins on that. I
Yeah,
believe, obviously, I'm not sure how much you can say of it since, but I believed it was talked about again since. I know when Pearse fought um, Dara Foley last year, you'd sort of mentioned that you would fight either of them in the morning. Is that a fight that sort of is on your radar at the moment? Maybe Pearse is in a different lane. Obviously, he fights the European title on Saturday.
no, yes, listen, obviously, like I'm just chasing big fights. I think Pearce is a great fighter. I mean, like it's an all Irish fight, it's a big domestic fight, and he's a big Pearce, a great fighter. I want to challenge myself against. I want to put myself in an opportunity and a position where Pearce is in. He's in a really good position with Frank Moore, and he's fighting for a European title. He's well ranked, and I mean that's all you want. That's all I want. I just want to be in a position where I can get big fights. And what's the point in boxing if you're not going to have big fights? That's my outlook. Every time I fought from I've turned professional, I've stepped up. Became like, and not a lot of people do that. I mean, I know my debut and maybe one or two fights after that weren't great opponents, but I mean, I think from maybe my fifth fight, I fought some Hungarian, Sabo or something, and he was like 21 and 10. He stopped Steve Norman before, and it was only my fifth fight. And then from then, I fought on my eighth fight, I fought in the rounder against an Argentinian who fought for an IBO world title against who beat Tyrone, the French guy. So these were the level I was fighting at in my eighth fight. And then my 10th fight, I fought Moira, who fought for Vargas for a world title eliminator. These are like the level. I just stepped up every time. And then obviously I lost to Gavin Gwynne when I went down to 135, and I was just straight away, I was straight back against Ronnie Clark. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I've never boxed that. I don't want to. I want big fights. I just want to fight. I've got to set a ball between my legs, and I believe in my skill set. So I mean, it's not it's not just Pearse O'Leary I want to fight. I'm just calling that out because I think it'd be a great fight, a great domestic tear up, and I don't think anyone really loses. I think whoever like opportunities will still come for that level because we're both good fighters and must both give great fights. And it's like if you look at the domestic scene now in the UK, we have like let's say Leigh, you've Kaisee, you've Warrington, you've like McComb, you've all these fighters who are capable of still fighting each other, making big fights. That's what it's about. And I mean that's what I want. It's just big fights.
You want the memories when you're tired. People's going to go, the Gatti Ward sort of type, where people's remembering wars in 20 or 30 years time and going, do you remember that fight? Remember this fight?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you give the people what they want to watch, and that's what they'll be remembered for. Big fights. I want to remember me fighting fucking Moira and fucking Mora, whatever his name is, in the Falls Park. It wasn't a headline. It wasn't a big. I want headline names. That's what I want. Headline names. I want a headline show.
How far away do you sort of envisage, like if you look at the rest of this year, sort of, into the start of 2026, you want to start getting ranked in them top 15 and want to start pushing yourself in them under position to fight for world title?
Well, like ideally, I would like to go on. I would like to go into 2026 with potentially having a date early in 2026 with the date of like pushing for a world eliminator, maybe world title eliminator. As I say, the fight here back when I was in Galway, September, fight for maybe a ranking belt. If that opportunity comes, a fight for ranking belt, then defend it in December. Then maybe you're walking into maybe March, April next year with an opportunity to fight for an eliminator and then push on to summer for a world title fight. I think all within a year it could all happen. Or like you just keep grinding away, grinding away, grinding away. And I don't care about grinding away. I do not care about just grinding away. Just give me names and I'll keep beating them until I get myself in the amount of challenge. You know what I mean? If I'm getting these fights and getting paid, I'm happy. That's as simple as that. Give me fights, I'll get paid. I don't give a fuck about the world title fight. It will come when I advance to get myself in the amount. So, uh,
A year can change a lot in this sport. Like, it can change very, very quickly, and opportunities can happen. Like we're seeing at the moment in 140, like sort of fighters maybe looking at moving up. So like titles could become vacant. You could sort of get pushed up the line a lot quicker.
yeah, 100%. Big time. And it's just as I say, it's like it's a game of stakes and ladders. You can climb up and going back down. People are just going to come and go, and there are people who aren't even in the rankings now that a year from now we don't fuck me here. People will be here. That's just it just changes so often.
How, like, it's going to be your first fight as a married man as well. Obviously, you get married, obviously, between Barboza and obviously coming back. So this your first fight now as a married man. Like, I think it's coming up now a year. Is that correct?
I'll be a year in June here, then 21st of June. Yeah, no
So,
week
so how have
before.
you found obviously being a married man now to the boxing? Like, obviously, is the missus all right still with it in some ways? She's not saying, Sean, you need to be home by 6 o'clock.
Nothing's changed. Same old bollocks. Nothing's ever changed. It's just the same shit every day. And I'm going to Amsterdam here on Friday back over with Pete. And I'm in the gym and she's singing and she's working and everything's the same. What would make difference is not right on that.
Have to ask obviously about the viral moment last week. I've even taken the hand at you as well. Shane Todd, obviously, with the 9-8 message, like I
Oh,
guess everybody's sort of wondering, like yours was the one that was the most annoying, well, not annoying, but laughable, because you were going, "What's going on? I'm not able to sleep tonight." Like, what a
I don't
viral
know
moment.
what the fuck about it. I was going, what's he for me for? Because it was so like random for him to ring me and say like, first of all, it was random for him to ring me anyway. So I thought he was looking something or he wanted something done, and then he said, I just want, and he went silent, and I was like, so what? I would have pleasure. Like you rang me, want to talk? Like hurry up and talk. I was like, just want to say nay nay. I was like, what? And he's like, I just have had a long day. I just want to say nay nay. I was like, what the? I was like, nay nay. He was like, yeah. So I didn't know what the fuck. I didn't know what to expect, and I didn't know what he was doing. I was like, I was going. I was looking at the watch, and I was like, it's like 20 to 9. There's no way he's going to podcast because I was thinking he may be sitting live on a live podcast recording me, but he wasn't. Obviously, the video came out and it was good when he done, but it was very funny. Caught me off guard.
I think it's some of one of them, particularly with the way the world is nowadays, when somebody's doing that to you and you're going, at this time of night, you're doing this. Are you all right? Like, what's wrong with you? Are you on the drink or whatever like that? The that was going through your head and going, he's either trying to prank me in some ways,
Yeah,
or he's drunk, or there's something wrong with him. So you were more keen to figure out exactly what he was saying the night, at that time of the night.
I know that's why I was like, and there was nothing behind it. When he was talking, it wasn't like he didn't go like laugh or I'm only joking, he didn't say I'm only joking, he just said nay night, and I was like, right, whatever, nay night. And then Darville looked at me and I was like, I know what that was about. And then obviously he sent me a video. I tagged him after saying, what's the crack here? What are you up to? He never replied. see it. So he never replied at all. And then about 20 minutes later, he sent me a video saying, "Is it okay if I post this? Yeah, well, it's going viral on TikTok." So I clicked on it and I woke up in the house lyrics laughing. I watched it. So I went on to TikTok and searched Night Night thing and I watched it. And I saw these American guys and like big black gangsters and they're like, "Hey man, I just want to say nah," and good night. They're like, "What? What the fuck you mean that?" No, that's funny. Like so, I was in the high strikes laughing at it.
I'm sure knowing you, you're plotting revenge in some way, and Shane Todd somewhere. Like obviously, we know you're always up the antics somewhere. You'll be plotting revenge somewhere.
I have something up my sleeve for him. Don't worry about that.
Charity football game, you'll get him two-footer or something on him.
Oh, I hear we're actually playing football on Thursday here. A wee bit of 5-a-side up in Black Show, so it'll be a bit of crack.
I have to ask the minute we mentioned football. Obviously, another viral one, like your match against the United Legends, took one down the chest and put it in like Ryan Giggs.
Slaughtered at home. It was easy, easy. Once we made the change, all the players had to come off, and we played in 30 minutes. We played like 3 quarters, so it was like 1 quarter, 3 quarter, no, 1/3, sorry, 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. It was a half an hour each third, and obviously, like once we all come off, then the second team went on, and it was like they just fucking ran away, but there was something else. So much experience to play with, like, unbelievable.
I know obviously you're a big fan of obviously anybody at United, obviously being a City fan, but they say you're on the same pitch as Ryan Giggs and Berbatov and things like that. Like that's another memory for life for you.
I know, serious, like it was surreal. Like took me like 5 or 10 minutes to get into the game because it was like calling people like you grab gigs, and it was like, did I just say it? No, like it was shit to one of my teammates going, "Here, move in there, grab gigs." I was like looking going, "What? This isn't even real." And I said, "You grab bourbon." I was like, "What the fuck am I?" Sounding like an Egypt. Do you know what I mean? It was just weird. And then 10 minutes and I was like, "No, what, fuck him," and then I just got going. And that's when I scored. And it was they were screaming the linesman saying he was offside, but I got a video sent and it's paused and I'm fucking completely onside.
It's one of them moments as well, and it's shirt off, swing it around your head, and away you go.
So next year, we're going to do it again next year, and we're looking to make it, talking to Paul Harkin for praise guy, and he really, really wants to do it proper next year, and he will. He will. He's a man of his word, and he does. He's class, and the way he does things, he doesn't do it half measures. He go out attack and make it the full.
And Paul's a legend, obviously sponsoring me and obviously sponsoring you as well. So we can't say any bad words about him.
Oh, he's a brilliant fella. Like he's a friend of mine now. Like he's just became a friend. So he sponsored me first time out, and he's just what he does for communities and everyone. And just give one opportunity. He's fast.
Finally, obviously, I'm just looking here. The timer's coming down to 2 minutes. What can people expect, obviously, of your GBM debut on the 28th of June in Galway? For people that can be there and watch it, I'll be there to watch it, but people that's been watching the zone, what can people expect of the newest version of the public nuisance?
I don't really think there is a new version. Just expect Sean McComb. You know what I mean? I want to go out and be classy. I'm gonna be professional in the performance, and I'm gonna have a bit of crack along the way, and just expect a bit of a laugh. Because I mean, I'm gonna go out there and just enjoy the show, and that's it. No other way to put it. It's just gonna be the same old Sean McComb. Like I've never, I haven't changed it. I'm not taking the approach to my career. I'm happy with the way I'm going, and I'm happy the way I am.
Maybe we'll get another one of your famous ring walks out. Remember the bird song? Remember that one? Although obviously I think was that the Gwynne fight? Was it you done that one?
That was the one before I fought CRO's club and lockdown. I got one entries.
Yeah, Wakefield somewhere. We maybe get one of them as well. But look, Sean, great to obviously get a catch up. Obviously, 14 months since about 14 months since we done our last one. I'm going to be down there in Galway, obviously for fight night. So I'll see you on fight night in Galway. Get you back to winning ways and get the public nuisance on the charge once again.
That's it. That's the plans. Happy days.
Cheers, Sean. Speak to you soon.
I'll speak soon. Thanks.
Take care. Thanks. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye.